Hello! We're back for day 5 of this seemingly never-ending story. And just while we wait for everyone to join in, who'll be telling us how the story is going to go, we'll recap on what's happened so far. We went back to the Cretaceous. Oh god, we got everyone in already. Tiny's back. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less. Paul, you've been missing a lot. Where have you been? I hope you're well. I'm glad, because normally you catch every single one of our streams. But I'm glad you're here. So, unless you've just been lurking, I will fill you in on what's happened. So, we went back in time. We have run around in the Cretaceous. We rejected the love of our best friend. No, I wouldn't say we rejected. We didn't choose to take it anywhere. It's just very platonic. So that's all good. We rescued our nemesis and then promptly left them. You had an exam. Oh, which one was it? Was it a rough one? Did it go all right? Hope so. What else happened? We saw some Triceratops, an Ankylosaur was stuck in a tar pit, Troodontids knocking about. That's about it, really. Yeah, we are just bros with Brett. That's all cool. We didn't need anything else. I mean, we're in the Cretaceous. We're too busy for anything else, to be honest. It's just not like that. Yeah, so that's about it. Is there anything else that we need to fill you in on? I don't think so. So if you've not yet played, we are doing a choose your own adventure. We'll do a bit of dialogue it's an ebook, a choose your own adventure about dinosaurs, and I, a undiagnosed dyslexic paleontologist with no interest in dinosaurs, is gonna attempt to read it. It's a match made in heaven, this. So we get given a bit of text and then a couple of options, and we number them 1 to whatever. Even the ones that aren't an option, they're still included in that number. So then just write your choice, 1 to 5 or whatever it is, in the comments, and democratically we will decide where to take this story, and we will share responsibility of whatever happens. So, Chapter 6. For once, you slept well, waking to the smell of fresh coffee. Ah yes, you ambled to the campfire, which Brett pokes with a stick while making breakfast. The crackle of a flaming log accompanies a chorus of chirps and cheeps. Remarkable how many insects flit through the surrounding foliage and dart across the rushing water at the base of the waterfall. You look around for the pterosaurs. Although lush growth obscures their nest, you hope to spot them in the air. Brett follows your glance. Our prehistoric neighbours took off while you were getting your beauty rest. Your friend pours you a cup, before proceeding to the various possibilities for the day ahead. What's item 1 on your agenda? So, we can make sure that the Time Changer Potato, which is the name of our Land Rover time machine, we can make sure that that is ready to roll. You can call it the Potato for short. We can capture some clips of us camping this morning, or we can check that my injury hasn't taken a turn for the worse. So we got a Troodon claw through the back of the ankle last episode, actually, thinking about it. And we could potentially have done something with our gun if we'd have taken it down the shooty route, which we haven't done. So, if it's up to me, I would say that option 1 or 3 is probably going to be the best. I mean, why would anyone want to see footage of us around camp? Yeah, exactly, Tiny. We're on the same page. Great minds think alike. So, I think the immediate issue is going to be the ankle. Like, we've had a chunk of our Achilles tendon taken out or something, so I think surely that has to be the right one. Oh, this chapter's called Eye on the Prize. Don't know what that means. We will find out. You set down your coffee and dig out the first aid kit. How's your wound? Brett asks. Nothing I can't handle by now? Or, see for yourself if you must. It's prudent to let him do so. Or, you're the expert. What do you think? Yeah, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't give him the, the option to have a look. Getting infected would be pretty bad, yeah. I mean, who knows what's knocking around in the Cretaceous? This is a whole, other world in terms of, what kinds of organisms are knocking around. So, I mean, I know we're taking antibiotics, but would the antibiotics work on everything then? You just don't want to take the risk. You really don't. Though we did break the potato quite a lot, saving Vance. Yeah, the bump... Oh, we didn't... We haven't... I haven't considered that, yeah, the potato might be in a pretty bad way, seeing as we've ripped both of its bumpers off. But anyway, yeah, I think 3 as well. Let's get Brett to look. He's better at first aid than us. You unwrap it so that Brett can treat you. He admonishes you to go as easy as you can, considering your circumstances. You feel better once you get this over with and promise to follow orders. You treasure the easy camaraderie between the two of you. That's what makes it possible to face the challenges of the Cretaceous. You ready to go look for more dinosaurs, you ask? The prospect brings a smile to your friend's face. I'm up for it if you are. New terrain. Today seems like a good day to head out to new terrain. On your way to rescuing Vance yesterday, you rush past an intriguing geyser basin. Geyser? Potato? You barely glimpsed geothermal vents belching steam and bubbling pools surrounded by fanciful white and yellow rock formations. If the lure of an alien landscape captivates you, a remarkable location for filming dinosaurs is but a few miles from here. Then again, who can blame you if you've had more than enough of any place featuring mysterious pools brimming with unknown volatile chemicals? If pure spring water appeals to you, a thoroughly benign watering hole lies close to where you witnessed the hadrosaur herd on the move. The pond probably attracts dinosaurs seeking to quench their thirst during the midday heat. It's ringed by a 10-foot tall cycads and clumps of outsized ferns that would make an effective hunting blind. The vegetation will also conceal you well if you fancy spending the day studying the creatures coming for a drink. What's your pleasure? You ask Brett. Both spots have a lot going for them, but a shot rings out. Where's the shot? Your friend whirls around and points to the top of the waterfall. It came from up there. Top of the waterfall. Ooh, what is going on? You grab binoculars. Might have known. The RV pulled up by the pterosaur's nest. Its roof glints in the morning sun. Brett frowns. Hope everyone's okay. A couple of people are moving around, you say. Casey for one. Lots of foliage. I don't see any big dinosaurs. Make that 3 people. No one looks like they're in trouble. Good, but with the pterosaurs gone, was that just target practice? Could be, who knows. Maybe their engine backfired, Brett said, but I doubt it. You shrug. I bet they don't know we're down here. What with the riotous growth and the spray rising from the waterfall, they probably haven't noticed your Land Rover parked a short distance downstream from the base of the falls. What are they up to? Hey, if we hike up the game trail, we can secretly check on them. Brett looks at you like you're crazy. They've got a gun. They know there are dangerous beasts around. They'll be ever so happy to see you. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we could walk right into their camp. I can say we heard a shot and came to see if everyone was okay. One of us might get the chance to learn something they don't want us to know. Could happen, I guess. You stop to reconsider. Climbing to the top of the waterfall will be a workout requiring stamina. Dealing with Vance and his cohorts is always a matter of employing people skills. Sure, it won't be easy, but look at the possibilities in working with one of them, or maybe even uncovering proof that Vance stole your work. On the other hand, you don't need anyone but Brett if you go to the geyser basin for some filming or the watering hole for some hunting or scientific research. The geyser basin is an easier drive than the watering hole. You can also expect to draw upon what you've learned from dinosaurs thus far. What do you do today? Are we gonna head out to the geyser basins with Brett? My camera gear at the ready. We're gonna clean the gun and head to the watering hole. No, we can't do that one. Can we take the notebooks and sample bags to the watering hole? Or do we check out what Vance and his cohorts are up to? Ooh, that is a big choice. I think this is going to be one of those that, is really guides where the whole story will go. I mean, what's more important? The science, staying safe, showing that our rival stole our research and copied our time machine? So, if we went to the geyser basins with Brett, that's just data gathering. I'd prefer to go to the watering hole, because that sounds like there's actually going to be more, like dinosaurs. Are we purely on a dinosaur research mission? Is it purely paleontological, or are we also looking at the geology of stuff? Because that'd be really interesting as well. It's not just paleontological information that we're going to get from the Cretaceous. Or there might be also dinosaurs there as well. Or do we see what Vance is up to? I'm not making this decision. This is on you, Tiny, seeing as you're the one that's here, I'm guessing. Pressure's on you, mate. Yeah, I'm sure there won't be so many dinosaurs at the geysers. So, what are you feeling? You feeling watering hole then? Or are we gonna check in on that damn Dorian Vance? I'm feeling. We're waiting. I have a feeling that you are gonna play science 4. I just want to know what's up with them. Right. Well, they might be in danger, That's a moral decision as well. Look, I'll be super careful. I can't pass up this opportunity. You won't let your qualms deter you. Opportunity to do a strenuous climb for what exactly? That's the thing. I won't know until I get there. You hate the way Brett looks at you, but you're not changing your mind. You and Brett hike up the steep sides of the waterfall. Once the game trail peters out the slippery, moss-coated rocks made for tricky climbing, you reach the summit and crouch behind some oversized foliage, breathing hard as you peer at the RV gang. Casey is investigating the empty pterosaur's nest, taking photographs and scooping up specimens of branches they used to build their nest, plus fragments of eggshell and pterosaur scat. The glamorous side of scientific method. Better him than you. Nonetheless, you contemplate warning him how dangerous those flyers can be. Skylar has an array of tools spread out and all the RV's doors wide open. From time to time, she consults a laptop and mutters to herself. You'd love to know exactly what exactly Skylar is doing. Routine maintenance for a camper doesn't typically require a laptop. Still, the off-road challenges have undoubtedly been hard on their vehicle. Is she making adjustments to their time machine? For that matter, how long are they planning to stay? Vance has set up a video camera on a tripod and is intermittently filming the other two. But mainly, he's got the lens pointed at himself. Figures. Using a microphone, he narrates their activities, lacing his assertions with heavy doses of braggadocio. That is another new word. Braggadocio. They've built a roaring campfire, which seems odd in light of the 80 degrees mid-morning heat. Brett stares at it, eyebrows raised. Good grief. Someone, most likely Darian Vance, and definitely not Casey, has spitted a chicken-sized bipedal dinosaur and is roasting it over the fire. Yes, definitely Vance's work. He gives it a turn while humming the refrain from Magic Carpet Ride, the same tune he hummed the day they arrived. Yeah, the dumb words of the chorus mutate into an earworm threatening to bury deep into your brain. Oh no, I feel like it was the wrong choice. Well, this is your choice. As you continue to observe unnoticed, new possibilities, more devious than any earworm, niggle inside your brain. Rather than continue your enmity, you give it some thought to calling a truce. Fact is, you might even entertain the idea of working together with Vance. Is that ever a radical notion? Nobody says you have to like a person to collaborate with them on something that'll be a great opportunity for you. You have skills of major use to Vance and vice versa. Notwithstanding his vast ego, Vance should be capable of recognizing that. After all, isn't his family excellent at exploiting people? No, don't think of it as that way. They're good at motivating others to do their best work for mutual benefit. For example, you could feature him in your movie. The camera loves his expressive face from practically every angle. Or you and Vance could start up a company to make time machines. A basic model wouldn't be any more expensive than yours was. This could be either the best idea you ever had or the worst. Do you tell Brett what you have in mind? Oh, we don't want to go into business with him, really? In a heartbeat, Brett's my sounding board. Yes, because I may need Brett's assistance. No, he'll just argue against it. Or no, Brett needs plausible deniability. Ha! Yeah, I don't feel the love for Darian Vance in the things that you've responded with, and but then that said, he's managed to follow the all of your notes. I mean, unless you did, like a step by step YouTube video guide of how to build a time machine. He's got some wits about him to be able to reconstruct your work. I mean, if that is what we are going for, then I would say probably, he probably would have Skylar do it, to be honest. But this is about Brett, which is interesting. That we're more concerned with how we're going to broach this with Brett rather than what we should do. Collaboration is for science, but you need to somewhat get along with the person. Yeah, are we really that different, Darian Vance and I? Both intrepid time explorers, who knows? But yes, this is about Brett and our relationship with Brett. Do we tell him or do we not tell him? I probably wouldn't want to surprise him with it and just spring it upon him. Does Brett understand? Would he understand where we were coming from? I think probably is our super number one best friend. Vance will just keep exploiting you, I think. I think that is kind of Darian Vance's MO, to be honest. But maybe because we're going to be dragging Brett into it. I think we should tell her. I think we should tell him at least, So I think we should, see what he thinks. Yeah, maybe you will tell us to stop it. So, one, we're in agreement. 1. After all these years, you're closer to Brett than anyone. He wouldn't hesitate to tell you when you're off base. You whisper to Brett, I've got an idea. I might need your help. Purely hypothetically, what if Vance and I decided to collaborate? Brett blinks at you, astonished. Seriously? To what end? Well, Vance could have the lead role in my film. Look at him. If ever there was a star with his gorgeous, rugged looks and handsome face. Vance and I could go in together on mass producing these time machines. Or, on second thought, never mind. You know, do we want Vance as the star? I mean, I'm not really that bothered. Would we want to go into business? Vance and his dad are pretty well off. They could put up the capital. For that, we would be billionaires. We would be absolute billionaires. And all the good that could do for paleontological research. But what would it mean for time travel? What would be the ethical decision in inventing time machines and then selling them? You're selling time to be manipulated and to be messed with. Yeah, Paul's right on the mark. You would be so rich. Tiny, I don't want to make him a star of the film, and mass producing time machines sounds like a bad idea to me, even if we don't get paradoxes. I am also... neither of these seem that bad. One seems like the least bad option, but maybe it could be a way to get close to Vance. Maybe you could... I mean, if we don't do anything, then it just kind of like closes any potential interactions with them. What do we do? Just wander off and carry on with the rest of the story? Or can we watch them or something like that? Oh, this is tricky. I think that I want to work against Vance and try and have my cake and eat it, to get everything that I need, to get the research I need, but also to trip him up into showing that he copied the research. I mean, I know the research is more important, but do we trip him up by getting in his face and talking to him, or do we trip him up by staying in the shadows and observing? That's a question, and I don't know if either of these would lead in that way. I think the first one might take us down the filming of film route. I think no. Never mind. Brett looks at you carefully. You feeling okay? The heat isn't getting to you, is it? I'm fine. Forget I said anything. You must have gotten a little carried away when you whispered to Brett. From the clearing comes Darian Vance's voice. You're not fooling any of us. Come out, both of you, now. Skylar looks up, screwdriver in hand, at whatever is about to go down. Casey, too, wheels around and stares at you through a thicket of dark hair. Damn, this is so not good. You rise, muscles stiff from crouching. Brett follows you into the clearing. Skylar comes to stand on Vance's right. Avoiding eye contact with Vance, Casey moves stiffly to stand on his left. Between the three of them and you, the campfire crackles and smoulders. Rather than getting thrown onto the defensive, you launch into the first halfway reasonable thing you can think of. I'm here to make you an offer, Darian. I came to give you some information about the nearby dinosaurs, Casey. Skylar, I might have an intriguing idea for you. So, who should we speak to? Who is likely to be most receptive? So, avoiding eye contact with Vance, Casey moves to his left. Maybe Casey is the one? Yeah, why can't we say that we heard a gunshot? I mean, that's why we're here. Who's shooting? Did they shoot the dinosaur to eat it? Did they get it on a spit that quickly? I mean, we have hiked up, basically up the side of a waterfall, so maybe it took a while. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna need one of you to make a call. I would say, I don't know. Maybe they did shoot the dino, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's probably where they were going. I'm intrigued by the avoiding eye contact. So maybe we could try with Casey. That's at least picking up something that, you know, the story's told us. But what kind of information would we say about the dinosaurs? I have no idea. I don't either, to be honest. Okay, we're just going off Casey based on the language. That why you were spying on me? Vance's chin juts out. I'm listening, Casey says, taking a step towards you. Vance's eyes flash. Since Casey ignores him, you said, I've seen some dinosaurs I'm sure would interest you. Other creatures too. I'd be more than happy to take you to them. But only you. The last thing I need is for a bunch of people to spook them. Casey opens his mouth, but before he gets out a word, Vance makes his move. A butcher knife sits on a flat rock next to the fire. No, this is the wrong music. We need this music. A butcher knife sits on a flat rock next to the fire. In one smooth motion, Darian Vance picks it up and slices a hunk of meat off the haunch of the dinosaur roasting over the fire. Spearing it with the knife, he holds it out to you. Have some. The challenge is unmistakable. Darian! Casey turns away in obvious disgust. You're the one who wanted a closer look, he snaps at the paleontologist. Cubby! All you can think is, a little cubby, abandoned on its own. Oh no, it can't be. This creature is the same size, bipedal, acclimatized to humans since birth. Could it be? Alarm grips you. Without the head and snout, you can't tell. Its forelimbs are trussed, so you don't know how long they are. Cubby! Is it a duckbill? Your voice quavers. Like a wild dog, Vance zeroes in on weakness. What if it is? No! No! The tail is too short and fat, you hope. Duckbills are 10 times the size of this dinosaur, says Casey. Not the hatchlings. You struggle not to bite your lip. If Cubby was left to fend for itself near here. Look at the feet, Brett says under his voice. And there's your answer in those feet. One too many toes. Not a duckbill, thank goodness. You shake your head to clear your thoughts. We haven't seen any hadrosaurs, Casey notes. Have a taste, Vance insists. A cocky grin is plastered on his face. The grin that gets him everything he could want. That is to say, everything that doesn't automatically come with his family wealth and connections. If Casey's looks could kill, but he's not the one running the show. Brett places a restraining hand on your forearm. Skylar's eyes narrow as she watches you closely. The moment silently stretches. Part of you is thoroughly revolted by Vance's challenge. Nonetheless, the idea of reaching out and popping the morsel in your mouth does have some appeal. Do you take him up on it? Oh, 1 to 6. No way, it reminds me too much of Little Cubby. Nope, there's no telling if it's safe, which is also true, but are there any animals, like tetrapods that aren't safe to eat? I know there's parts of them, like you can't eat the liver of a polar bear, for instance, But is any, like, muscular flesh unsafe to eat? I don't know. Not after witnessing Casey's reaction. Heck yeah, I'll show that jerk I'm not afraid to take a bite. Yep, the things I do for my filmmaking career. Or, it's a small price to pay for staying on good terms with Vance. So, are we going to eat a dinosaur? I can't remember any tetrapod that's inedible. You know, I don't. I'm sure that not all of them are pleasant, but I mean, meat is generally meaty and edible. Is it not? I don't know. It really has taken a turn. I didn't. I'm kind of disappointed that it isn't Little Cubby now. Actually, that was so brutal. So I think. I mean, there's 3 options for eating it. I think maybe we play on Casey's reaction still, because we might be able to make inroads there with Casey. The fact that he was going to come forward and got really excited about the dinosaurs, the fact that he doesn't like the killing and people eating them, this could be a way. Yeah, I agree, Tiny. I think this is the one. Being in Casey's good graces means more to you than anything that could come from passing Vance's test. You signal unobtrusively that you're with him on this one. As those thoughts flit through your mind, you realise you've hesitated a few seconds longer than you wanted to. Truth be told, your reaction isn't all that simple. Passing Vance's test will impress him with your daring, thereby boosting whatever relationship you want to have with him, right? Or is this about your full-on hold my beer moment? Or is this about to be your full-on hold my beer moment? But hey, taking the first bite isn't the only option. The bold thing to do is call his bluff and propose that if you both eat it at the same time, or if you're feeling more cautious, you might insist that Vance go first. Of course, the in-your-face approach is to laugh at his offer and bait him. If you can carry that off, Vance is the sort who will respect you for it. Then again, you might rely on your social skills and try a polite refusal, coupled with a statement that you're a vegetarian. Doesn't matter that it's true or not, as he won't know. Everyone stares silently at you. Accompanied by the crackle of the fire and the rush of the waterfall, you say, "We do this simultaneously. Show me how it's done." "Thanks, but I'm a vegetarian." What is this? 2nd grade? Don't like the idea of us killing and eating dinosaurs either. I mean, I eat chicken. Is it really that different? I mean, I eat meat, so what's the difference? Really? The last one, it isn't professional. No, it really isn't. But we are only undergrads, I think. Maybe MSc or something. I can't remember what level of education we're in. But anyway, it's not 2nd grade. What is this? 2nd grade? They say the best defense is a good offense. You go with that, trying for a contemptuous tone that Vance will respect. Trouble is, you're not good enough. Not a good enough actor to pull this one off. Whether it's the way you stumbled in the middle of your challenge, or your facial expression, or the defense hunch in your shoulders, Vance sees through you. Your refusal signals to him that you're a coward. He favours you with a contemptuous smirk as he pops the hunk of dinosaur meat into his mouth, chews and swallows. "Is there a reason you've graced us with your presence?" he sneers. Despite getting tripped up by Vance's culinary trial by fire or whatever this was, you forge ahead. Who knows if you'll have another opportunity to try to sell Vance on making a movie together, Or do you prefer to talk to him in jointedly setting up a company to produce time machines and send people on a trip of a lifetime? Then again, you could also ask if he wants to go exploring and big game hunting with you. Nobody says your pitch has to be directed at Darian Vance. Are you enchanted with the prospect of taking Casey off to study the hadrosaurs or the pterosaurs or maybe even mammals? Is it urgent that you enlist Skylar's help in working on your time machine? Who could have predicted you'd have these opportunities? And who knows if they'll ever come your way again? With everyone waiting for your next move, a more devious possibility comes to mind, one requiring a skilled actor. You might try luring Vance, Skylar, and Casey away so that you have a chance to investigate the RV, searching for evidence of Vance's malfeasance against you. That's another new word. I'm learning so much. Right. Propose that Vance and I join forces. No! Suggest to Skylar pooling our resources to get both time machines in top shape. Invite Casey to come with me to observe some remarkable creatures, or lure them away, then collect evidence of Vance's nefarious actions. Tiny's vegetarian. Yeah, well, there we go. Okay. So, joining forces with Vance is out. Skylar pooling resources to get the machine in top shape. That could potentially be the most moral way of doing this, because we want to make sure that we're capable, and Skylar's a top engineer if they're able to do all of this, like recreation of our work, but they wouldn't have necessarily the insight that we have. So if we didn't pool resources, are we stranding them there potentially? Inviting Casey. Casey seems to be the one now most sympathetic to our cause. Or then do we collect information? So we got 3 or 4, or 4 would be great, but we've not really been able to pull these off. Yeah, I really don't believe in our abilities to do anything. Whatever we try and do, it goes wrong, and maybe that's the point. Paul wants to see some dinosaurs. Would you? And then if we isolate Casey, it might be possible as well to get some information that way. So I think 3 might be the best. Yeah, let's go 3. We need to talk about dinosaurs. Ignoring Vance, you give some thought to the invitation most likely to appeal to Casey. If you've gotten along well with the paleontology grad student, you might propose you two go observe the pterosaurs nesting at the lake, without disturbing them or even alerting them to your presence. Casey is like to be receptive to a genuine appeal to study the pterosaurs calmly, the antithesis of Vance's drama. Plus, you do want to caution these folks against camping so close to a nest. Another possibility is to entice him with a visit to the duckbill colony on the far side of the swamp. Reaching the terrace and coming back is the most physically demanding option, as it will take all day, which may be a feature, not a bug, given how much he can teach you along the way. It's a good bet that the paleontologist will be receptive to a genuine appeal to watch the adorable hatchlings as an antidote to Vance's gratuitous cruelty. Lastly, you could try to persuade Casey to go see some mammals. That's probably your best bet if your relationship with him is shaky, to put it mildly. What paleontologist wouldn't be tempted? But Casey would need to be confident that you're brave enough to face whatever you encounter. If you haven't actually come across any mammals, you might still convince him, if you're skilled at subterfuge. What do you suggest to Casey? What? We have seen mammals. Eh? Is that saying... Why would we have to lie about seeing mammals? We have seen mammals. Okay, so if you are Casey, what do you want to see? Pterosaurs, duckbill dinos, duckbill babies. Maybe... I think maybe the mammals are the best, but it's... That's probably in case we didn't run away from the troodontids. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like reusing this bit of text for two different stories, which you can't blame them with. There must be like a million different options to take in this. Million different pathways that you could ultimately choose. Oh, that would be one for the maths. How many different pathways can you go with this game? Like, because I have worried, like, is it right to do like a playthrough of an audiobook when basically you read the book and it makes it so that nobody else has to read it? But then there's so many different ways that you can take these things that no playthrough will ever be the same. Okay, it's nice that they gave some insight as to what types of choices these actually are. Yeah, it is. It is good that we're a bit more informed on this one. Which is interesting because, like, the last one, seeing some mammals, probably the best bet if your relationship with him is shaky. You know, is that us acknowledging that? Yeah, hopefully there is a lot of replay, and hopefully, you know, like some random place on YouTube, someone's gonna find this and get the game because of it. Okay, so. Lake hadrosaurs or mammals. If it was me, I think probably the mammals would be the most interesting thing there. Oh, what do you guys think? Pterosaurs, hadrosaurs, or mammals? But yeah, you get to look at, you know, ontogeny, you get to look at so how dinosaurs grow, you get to look at the paleoecology of the hadrosaurs, all by going to, you know, you got diets and stuff as well, all by going to the colony. You've got pterosaurs, a nest there as well. They're already at a pterosaur nest, though. I think. Yeah, because he was looking at sticks and stuff, wasn't he? Or Cretaceous mammals. Like, they're not going to find that. I think maybe the mammals. Maybe Casey is a mammal paleontologist, maybe. It's a nice walk from here, you say. You had Casey at mammals. His face brightens and his mouth forms a circle. That's an interesting sentence. His face brightens and his mouth forms a circle. Oh yes, I'd like that. In fairness, I must warn you up front that they live in the same habitat as some truly dangerous dinosaurs. But don't you worry. I figured out how to keep us both safe while we have an opportunity to observe the earliest mammals anyone has ever seen. Like, I mean, like, all of these things are the first anyone has ever seen. But, like, the first mammals were, like, mammals were, like, Morganeucodon and stuff. They're from the Jurassic, aren't they? Or maybe I'm showing myself up as not a Mesozoic person. Anyway. I know I can rely on your abilities more than I can rely on Darian's, that's for sure. Bright-eyed, Casey stuffs a logbook, sample bags and other tools of the trade into a backpack. You two set off, and soon you find yourself filling the paleontologist in on what you know about the plains dinosaurs. He's so easy to talk to. Along the way, Casey pauses to examine the sap running down an ancient tree. Insects, bits of feather, and other remnants of Cretaceous critters are encased in the golden resin. You help the paleontologist collect some samples. By accident, you get some of it on one of the scratches on your arm, and it has a surprisingly soothing effect. You decide to collect a jar of the stuff for later use. What? So we've discovered like like resin is going to be some medicine or something. Right, okay. After not more than an hour's travel downstream, you find yourself standing on the edge of the plain, near where you encountered the Triceratops herd. The ground is dotted with freshly dug holes. Mammal burrows? Casey asks. That's right, they blend into the scrub, so you have to watch for movement. Casey digs out his field glasses and camera. He begins making a series of observations about the habitat and the burrow pits themselves. You listen and watch intently, with growing awareness of all that the paleontology grad student can teach you by example about how to conduct fieldwork. Before long, a furry, mouse-sized animal pokes its long snout out of its hole not 5 feet from you. Both of you freeze, watching intently as it darts out, captures a flying insect, and dives down a different hole. Rather than wasting breath, oohing and ahhing, Casey methodically describes the mammal's actions, including the way it squeaks after gulping its meal. You two keep on watching, as the scene repeats several more times, though never again as close to you as the first time. Things have gone exceedingly well, way better than you'd hoped. What a relief. Here's your opportunity to broach a delicate topic. Truth be told, you've been pondering this for days. Should you ask Casey to review your write-ups of your fieldwork, he would have some terrific suggestions, maybe even some that would help you get reinstated at the university. Do you dare push beyond that and suggest that you two might collaborate on an academic paper or two? I would think that you would be able to collaborate on an academic paper or two, having gone back to the actual Cretaceous. I think that's a shoo-in for, kind of like the best paper ever written. Anyway, is this a pipe dream of an expelled undergrad? No. Or a golden opportunity to work with a star doctoral student? You're the star doctoral student. You invented time travel. It depends on whether you've displayed a sufficiently high level of knowledge about the finer points of all things Cretaceous. In the alternative, now may be the time to enlist Casey's support in combating Vance's wrongs against you. Certainly there's no love lost between these two. Your chances of success depend on whether you can show the paleontologist that you've already begun building a solid case, or on bluffing like crazy. Or does your heart yearn for romance? What? What? Where? That came out of nowhere? Wow. Okay. So, we could propose collaborating on the research and co-authoring scientific papers. I think that's going to happen anyway. I think it's a good move. I think that's the sensible move. Not a sensible move is to actually make a move on him. I mean, who knows? Who knows if he'd be into it? Haven't we already described him as not the best looking person in the world? That's kind of... Is this taking advantage of the situation? I'm not sure I'm okay with the ethics here. Or do we ask Casey to get me evidence discrediting Vance? Ooh, can we pull off the bluff? Like, what is Casey's loyalty to Vance? How in it is Casey? Is he gonna get in, trouble too for being part of this plagiarized expedition? Yeah, the romance option did indeed pop out of nowhere. Hey, it's Valentine's Day, so yeah, just saying, maybe like love is the way to take this. Is it Valentine's Day back in the Cretaceous? How many days are in the year? Does it fall on the same day? These are all big questions. Anyway, none of which are relevant to this. Okay. So, We've been rather diligent with the notes, so the first option might work. I concur. I think that's our in with Casey. Say, Casey, there's something else I've been meaning to ask you about. It probably won't come as a surprise to you that I dream of making a career of paleontology. I'd love to have you look over my recorded observations from the past few days. I want to write them up for professional publication, and it would go a lot more smoothly with a co-author like you. No worries about me hogging the limelight. What? We've given away first authorship! What do you say to a collaboration? Oh, come on. I mean, we don't talk like that. We don't say, I don't get in touch with a potential collaborator and say like, oh, let's do a professional publication together. You just like, we should, you know, like write this up. Or do you want to work on a manuscript together or something like that? I've never found it that formal. But anyway, Casey's eyes get big and dart all around, as though he were looking for some other way down from a 20-foot high diving board. Here, on impulse, you thrust your notebook into his hands, praying that it demonstrates your methodical ability to observe and record dinosaur taxonomy and behaviour. For a long minute, there's no sound, save the rustle of the pages as the paleontologist flips through your notes. At last, Casey looks up, a serious expression on his face. Yes, I can see that you have the makings of a scientist. I'd be very pleased to work with you. Yes! Casey wants to collaborate with you. Your blood pounds in your ears and the lump in your throat renders you temporarily speechless. Mutedly, you nod. The rest of your day is giving over to an extended conversation about your individual and shared observations and conclusions. All too soon, you and Casey must go your separate ways, as it's best not to let Vance know that you two have agreed to collaborate. But first, you do have a chance to pull out the walkie-talkie and press it into Casey's hand, ostensibly for emergency use only. The RV crew intends to remain overnight at the top of the waterfall, while you and Brett decide to spend the night at the watering hole. If you get up before dawn, you can find out what creatures put in an early morning appearance. As the evening's campfire dies down, you mull over today's events. No, not everything went according to plan by any means. Nonetheless, the most remarkable event today was gaining a deeper understanding of dinosaurs. We didn't gain a deeper understanding of dinosaurs. We saw some mammals. Or the way I dealt with Darian Vance, which, no. Capturing footage of the astounding kazoo heads. What's a kazoo head? Is that a... Oh god, what are they called? Parasaurolophus? Parasaurolophus? Or filming that pterosaur up close. We can't do the last two because we didn't see them. So we kind of messed these options up. So I think it would be our gaining of a deeper understanding of prehistoric life. You fill in gaps in your field notes with today's observations and preliminary conclusions, while it's all still reasonably fresh in your mind. Brett compliments you on your diligence and key eye for detail. He's no slouch in that department either, and he adds several cogent observations that you've already gotten down. This leads you to further insights. Besides that, man oh man, in one day, Casey taught you a graduate seminar's worth of material. As you drift off to sleep, what do you find yourself thinking? I'd love to stay longer and really get to know this place and its creatures. I can't wait to go back to my home sweet home, tomorrow or the next day. Or I'll build on what I've learned here and make it into something incredibly useful. Ooh. I wonder if we've left Brett with Vance for the whole day. It didn't say, did it? What was Brett gonna do in that, little romantic moment? Was he just gonna be sit there, like, sat there thinking like, well, could have been me, you know, like yesterday. I was in that position after we'd just escaped the Triceratops, and now it's Casey. Oh well. He's just sat there with his gun. She's given away his walkie-talkie. Alright, well, I'm not going to speak to my best friend now. Yeah, get out of here, Brett. It's all about Casey now. Casey's our new best friend. An academic friend. A collaborator. Better than any best friend you could ever do. Right. So, do we want to stay longer? I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I mean, who's gone on holiday and thought, you know, like, I'd love to stay here longer. It doesn't mean you're actually going to do it. I don't think I'd want to go home. You know, I'm in the Cretaceous. I'm having a great time. I mean, I got the back of my ankle ripped out by a troodontid, but it's fine. It looks okay. And then I'll build on what I've learned here and make it into something incredibly useful. I'd hope I'd be doing that anyway. So, hang on. Tuck myself into my sleeping bag, in the Cretaceous. Now, I'd just be terrified of absolutely everything. When I was in the Arctic and there were polar bears, even though we didn't even see them, every night when I took myself up to go to bed, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I found such wonderful fossils. I was thinking, 1, I hurt. 2, I'm cold. 3, I'm scared. 4, I wish I had the gun. 5, I can't believe it's still light. I can't. I just want to go to sleep, please. So, I think maybe 3? 3 is most constructive. I agree. You came here more or less on a lark, but remarkably enough, there were moments today when your confidence zoomed as you dealt with the challenges of the late Cretaceous. You've learned that you can turn your passion into your life's work. The next chapter. If you don't go and do something happens, the secrets time trial would be lost. Yeah? Yeah, if we do get hurt or something, or if we don't look after the time machine, I mean, maybe they'd find us as a fossil. Very unlikely. Depends how we die. We can find an oxbow lake to go and die in, or they might find the potato, you know, just like parked up 65 million years later. So, we've been going an hour. Do you have another hour in you, or should we roll it over tomorrow? Just driving the tar pit. Exactly. There we go. That'd be more interesting as well. We'd leave lots of taphonomic information. How things preserve. How would a human preserve in this environment? Right. I don't think that we should continue. I think that if we're all free, we should do this. We should put another day in. Or are you into this? Are you both free for another, like, what, half hour or something? This really is a choose your own adventure. Choose if you want more. 1, if you want to hang around with Dave and the Palaeocast Gaming Network, learning about paleontology or something like that. Or 2, you want to leave. You never want to hear this story. You don't want to know how it actually finishes, because it's kind of the same every episode. 1. Okay, democracy. We're going again. We're going. The Triceratops takedown. It's not even the end. We've not even seen a T.rex still. Ugh. Right, where's some more music? Dragging yourself up from a deep sleep in the pitch dark, you stumble over tree roots as you and Brett await dawn and today's dinosaurs. With a yawn, you grumble. Can't believe I actually suggested we do this. We'll see a pretty sunrise, Brett says. Now hush, some critter might happen along any minute. Or not. After a week's worth of yawns, In the next hour, you're ready to pack it in. Wherever the dinosaurs go for their morning coffee, it isn't here. Still, we have made a significant discovery. What was that? We discovered that Cretaceous dinosaurs aren't morning people. Ah ha 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 ha! Very good. Brett chuckles. Time to hit the road and head over to the launch site. I can't believe I played that. Canned laughter. Oh, there's no shame. Launch site. You appreciate his euphemism. You're anxious to get to the pterosaur's nest, where you landed, before the 30-minute window opens at noon. Even if you don't leave today, caution pushes you to make sure that that there are no impediments to doing so, such as any surviving pterosaurs reoccupying their roost. As you drive, you plan how you'll tell Casey what you have in mind. After stopping to gas up the Land Rover, you try to raise him on the walkie-talkie but can't get through. Damn. Of all the times to be out of range or for his batteries to die. You sigh and talk things over with Brett. Do we go home today? After all, we're done here. That's where my future is. With all the evidence I need against Vance, it's time to go home. With all the evidence I need against Vance, it's time to go home. I don't understand that sentence. Anyway, stay here, but make sure I can get us home if need be. I think... What? So this is asking if we want to stay longer? We're probably at the halfway point, yes. Okie dokie. What are we doing? One, two, or three. One, two, or three. One, two, or three. Go home today. After all, we're done here. I mean, there's always more that we can do. And yes, the future is at home, probably. Go home and collect evidence against Vance? Or stay here but make sure I can get us home if need be. Would we get more at the watering hole? I want to stay at the watering hole, I think. I think that we're going to see some cool stuff, and I don't want to kill more pterosaurs, as undoubtedly would happen. I want to see these kazoo heads. I need to run through the whole launch procedure up to right before the last step. This is strictly a precautionary exercise. I've got to be sure we can take off if we have to. That makes good sense to me, Brett says, but there's always the possibility of going home in Vance's RV. You shake your head. I won't have us grovelling for seats in Vance's time machine. Besides, we shouldn't assume it's risk-free. Fair enough, I'll give you a hand. Moving on, you note, from what I've seen of the terrain, there may be a shortcut we can take to reach the lake. Shortcut. A couple of hours later, you groan in frustration. Oh, let's carry on with that music. The cut through proved to be elusive. Make that non-existent. Sheer sandstone cliffs rise in front of you, and on both sides. You'll have to retrace your route several miles out of this canyon, and then follow the main river back to the big lake. Nothing takes so long as a shortcut. We can still make it by noon, Brett says. Good thing. One way or another, you intend to be there when the time window is supposed to open. You need to see those shimmering orange lights appearing precisely as predicted by the temporal equations. You turn around and drive off, not quite like the proverbial bat out of hell, but perhaps like a mammal out of a theropod's clutches. At 11:30 AM, the launch site comes into view with the blue lake behind it. You dodge the sequoia with a diameter twice the length of your Land Rover and splash across a little stream at the shallow ford. pausing a few yards farther on to scrutinise the remnants of the pterosaur's nest. Scavengers haven't left anything worth noting. That's worth noting in and of itself, wouldn't you think? Brett cranes his neck to take in the Cretaceous sky. Not a pterosaur in sight, nor any troodontids. Excellent. You cautiously manoeuvre that time-changer potato into the exact centre of the abandoned nest. At this pivotal moment, before switching to time travel mode, and engaging the Flux Navigator, before the distinctive orange shimmer envelops the Land Rover, what do? Shoot a dramatic film of us and that time-changer potato in the nest. Film an explanation of how time travel works and walk viewers through my preparations. Scrutinise the time machine's settings and the pre-flight checklist, or give the walkie-talkie another try. Right, so dramatic film. I don't think it needs to be dramatic. I'd rather film, like the documentary number 2. But I mean, cautiously for me, I would try 3 or 4 because, 3, I don't think we should be traveling through time with everything that could go wrong without, being sure. But then also there's the moral obligation to the other people, even if we don't like them. We're leaving now. See you later. We're gonna go. We're gonna tell everyone that we've done time travel. Bye. But yeah, there's 2, 3, and 4 would be good options, and 2 and 3 for what you've said. So I will take the deciding thing, and I think we are going to try 4. I want to make sure that they are okay. You switch from one channel to the next and next. This time the static sounds different, more broken up, perhaps. Is that a hopeful sign or not? There's no more time to fiddle with the thing. You pull out the pre-flight checklist and give the navigational settings a cursory look and scan the time machine's baseline readouts. Last-minute qualms about the functionality of your time machine grip your innards, but when the time comes, your practice fingers play over the console. Shoving aside twinges of apprehension, you say, "Switching to time travel mode in 4, 3, 2, 1... That's a really quiet sound effect. Let's do a different one. That's also really quiet. Okay, all my time travel sound effects are... Anyway, the time machine springs to life, emitting the same reassuring hum you first heard in your parents' garage. Phew. Brett high-fives you. Now, for step 2, you murmur. You activate the Flux Navigator. There's nothing more welcoming to your eyes than the glowing green lights on the device. You take a breath and key in the command sequence to enable the time window to open. That's when the trouble starts. Trouble. 2 things happen at once. Remember the 1-minute warning you rigged the Land Rover to blast before the time window opens? If you thought it was loud at midnight, in a quiet residential neighbourhood, it's even worse now. Awooga! 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 Booms clear across the lake and boomerangs back at a volume guaranteed to wake the pterosaurs from the dead. The good news is that this means the launch window will open on time. The bad news is that the cacophony is met not with pain-filled squawks of a pterosaur on the fear-inducing blood screeches of the troodontids, but with a terrifying bellow. I'm guessing it sounds like this. You and Brett have heard this noise before out on the windswept plains, and you can never forget it. Oh no, your friend groans, confirming the queasiness in the pit of your stomach. Oh wait, no, it's another one. It's this one. Triceratops. It can't possibly be as close as it sounds, you begin. They roam the open scrublands, not the forest. Brett's worried expression deepens as he looks past you. This is the wrong music again now. From behind an ancient conifer, a great brown triceratops, one that would dwarf a buffalo, struts towards that time-changer potato. The scientist in you can't help but take note of the dinosaur's bony head frill, has flushed permission pink. That can't be good. Could this indicate the presence of blood vessels close beneath the skin that swell and pulsate, like a person whose face turns red with exertion or rage? The beast's size 48 feet crush pine cones, small plants, everything in its way. Its massive head bears a trio of horns that you've come to fear and detest. 2-foot long horns, sharp and encrusted with something best not thought about. They're pointed straight at your Land Rover. Maybe if we just sit here, motionless, you mutter, not attract any more attention. Naturally, this is the moment when the orange shimmer cascades all about the time machine like a giant neon sign advertising that the time window is open. Lindsay, if you want to try heading home in a second, I'm good with that. Okay, we're dead. Hello Salama, you're a first time commenter. And you? Are you ready to head home? You've mostly completed your pre-flight checklist. All you would have to do is press the dual launch buttons simultaneously. You built in the double control as a precaution to guard against an accidental launch. As you hesitate, a yet more alarming sound, if that's possible, reaches your ears. From the opposite direction comes an answering roar, very much like the first, only louder and angrier. You glimpse a second Triceratops, an even larger male, approaching from the far side of the stream you crossed. Its frill has also flushed bright pink. The first dinosaur repeats its thunderous challenge. I'm busy looking at my soundboard. Paws the ground and shakes those horns. The second Triceratops roars back for all it's worth. Although it stops, one oversized footprint poised at the water's edge. This does you little good, as the first dinosaur bulls its way towards the pterosaur's nest where you sit, horns still shaking. Brett twists around in his seat, reaching for his rifle. That's Brett, never one to go down without a fight. The battleground. Did we meet a T.rex yet? No, we haven't. You know, why would they call it T.rex Time Machine? We've never seen a T.rex. Now you comprehend a major disadvantage of this location. With the lake at your back and the stream to your one side, the behemoths hem you in as surely as stone cliffs surrounding the canyon did this morning. You might try to switch your Land Rover back to driving mode and outmaneuver the Triceratops. Triceratops should be plural, I think. Sooner or later, they should give you an opening to escape, right? But that strategy isn't for the faint of heart and requires an awfully skilled driver. As for the downsides, well, let's not go there. You madly strap your helmet onto your head. It feels puny and useless in the face of those horns. No, don't go there either. You're sorely tempted to try heading home, although enough already, leave while you and Brett are alive and reasonably healthy, considering what you've both endured. This is a sensible response if you're a whiz at maintaining your time machine in good working order, with or without assistance. That's also a responsible solution if you've slacked off somewhat, so long as your equipment has escaped damage. Then too, you're reassessing your notions of calculated risks, given that being trapped in the Triceratops' sparring ring isn't exactly the safest place in the Cretaceous landscape for you, Brett, or your time machine. And do you really want to miss out on the battle of the Cretaceous titans of testosterone? You could show the world that courage is your strong suit by driving nearer and filming the dramatic action, from a scarier camera angle. If you paid a lot of attention to the dinosaurs' patterns of behaviour, you should have a decent idea of how close you dare get and from which direction to avoid antagonising them. In case their bright pink head frills antagonise other males, you do a quick check to make sure that neither of you nor Brett are wearing anything of this colour. A cautious approach would be to scramble up in a nearby tree above the fray and safely observe the two behemoths as they roar and crash together, locking horns and tearing up the turf. However, taking refuge in a tree will leave your time machine vulnerable. Even though they're after each other, not a stationary vehicle, do you really want to chance it? To be clear, most of these possibilities will play havoc with your opportunity to go home today before the orange shimmer of the time window blinks out. What do you decide? Oh god. Can we outmaneuver them in a Land Rover? No, probably not. I mean, yes, if we were going incredibly fast, but you know, like if we are in a Land Rover that's stationary, it's very hard to maneuver those quickly. That ain't a good idea. That is not a good idea. Can we climb up a tree above the fray? Sounds pretty benign, but I have a feeling that this choose your own adventure gets us to do sensible things and then punishes us for it, to be honest. We could drive closer to film the fight. Best dinosaur movie ever. Probably would be, without a shadow of a doubt. Or do we press the launch buttons and head home? I've got a feeling that it wouldn't work, that the time machine would, you know, like, just break. I'm sure climbing a tree means a broken potato. So the potato is the time changer potato is the name of our time machine for reference. Potato for short. We've got some strong head home vibes. What is everyone thinking? We need some more. We need the democratic decision. My opinion would be that there's always the backup machine. Our rival has his RV with a time machine in it. And we've got a walkie-talkie. At worst, if everything goes wrong, which I expect it will do, then we've got that backup. So I think whatever happens, our time machine's getting wrecked. I don't think this is really a choice. I think that it's gonna get wrecked whatever happens. I don't head home. I don't want to head home yet. But I know that if we pressed head home, it'd be like, yeah, sorry, it's broke. And if we don't say head home, it'd be like, oh, the time machine got broke. We really should have head home. I think that... Oh, what are we going to be least upset with ourselves about? I think maybe we should stay safe. We could see if the fourth option works the way that you think. I think it will do. Okay, let's go for it. Let's head home. It's not going to happen. It's gonna break. The bigger of the two Triceratops paws the earth, kicking up fine debris as it growls at you. A breeze sweeps the detritus towards you, stinging your eyes and sending you into a coughing fit. The ground quakes with every step it takes coming at you. It bellows its rage, which sends you flashing back to that horrific time 3 days ago when the whole herd bore down on you. Sweat pours from your forehead. Your pulse hammers so loudly that you can barely hear Brett's terrified gasp. You seize the door handle, ready to jump out and flee on foot. Brett twists around and grabs your arm. Home, Lindsay! Get us home! His voice has gone ragged. All you see are those gore-encrusted horns closing in on you. Lindsay, come on! Your friend starts shaking you, which snaps your attention back to your escape. The dual launch buttons sit beneath your fingertips. No, this isn't how you dreamed you would make your exit from the Mesozoic stage. Not in the least. And yet, any exit that leaves you and Brett alive is nothing to sneeze at, if it works. 1,000 fragments of thoughts chase one after the other across your brain. Worries about the flux navigator, the settings, the time window, so many other factors you might have failed to account for. Every one of them could lead to a fatal error. All of that balanced against the monstrous dinosaur bearing down on you and Brett. You press the launch buttons. The Cretaceous world disappears. 1 second the Triceratops are roaring right outside the dust-streaked windshield, and the next second your time machine is surrounded by an inky darkness. A couple of seconds later, you notice the purple ripples, which do look familiar from the voyage out, only there seem to be more of them now, and they come at you faster than before. Is this normal? The standard readings on your flux navigator do nothing to calm your nerves, nor does it hum. There's no sensation of motion, though you experience an unsettled feeling in the pit of your stomach. Then again, your stomach is a hot, roiling mess anyway. You place your hands on the steering wheel out of habit. It moves freely, as though unconnected to anything meaningful. Although that's what you expected, and what you experienced last time, nevertheless it feels wrong. The chronometer on the console between the seats counts up the return trip. Home in 15 minutes, you say, even though Brett can read it from his seat as easily as you can. How do you spend the time? Do we monitor all the readouts and record their values? Joke and make goofy faces to ease our frazzled mental state? Or film us on our voyage home? Well, something's going wrong. We're going to have to get, like the readouts and the values. Surely. Oh, we could sing. 65 million bottles of beer on the wall. 65 million bottles of beer. Yeah, that would take a while. Okay. We should monitor the readouts. Surely. I'm gonna make this one. I'm gonna make this call. Oh, we got back. That didn't work the way that I thought. Have we finished it? This simple task proves to be as tedious as ever, and even more nerve-wracking. The data streams across your monitors. Trying to make sense of it is like trying to isolate individual droplets in a river. Plus, it's hard to concentrate on much beside your racing heart. You lack Skylar's in-depth understanding of the Flux Navigator. Brett shoots you a worried glance. Fact is, I have no clue. We'll ride it out. He places a reassuring hand on your arm. The final seconds elapse. A dim glow from behind you illuminates that time changer potato's interior. A jolt slams your head against the headrest as the back of the Land Rover drops downwards, coming to rest at a worrisome angle. Ouch! As you psych yourself up to contend with some unexpected problem involving time travel, you wait for your eyes to adjust to the dim light. When they do, you stare out the windshield and blink in astonishment. Oh, I feel like we need some different music. Oh, nice. Now see what can go based. Didn't stick that landing either, Brett remarks. Who's Peter? Brett remarks. You come down in your parents' garage. Laughter rises and bursts from your throat. Giddy with relief, you hop out to see that your front wheels have come to rest on a pile of boxes. Then it hits you. There's no place that smells like home. Your landing caused quite a commotion, which brings people running and staring open-mouthed at the sight of you. Someone calls an ambulance. Everyone is eager to get you to a hospital. Why? I appreciate the concern, but what if I look wild-haired and... what if I look wild hair and rumpled? I just returned from making history to say nothing of prehistory. It takes a long time to convince them that that they're overreacting to your assortment of scrapes, cuts, and minor injuries. You assist all you need is a hot bath, a few bandages, and 2 or 3 days of sound sleep in order to feel as good as new. Your condition simply isn't anything to write home about. Thanks for asking. Once you're back in your childhood home and enjoying reasonable health, your thoughts turn to your academic standing. You've taken too many risks and achieved too much to simply walk away from what was once a promising academic situation. As your dad always says, ask not, receive not. So you put together a case petitioning both Dean Green and the president of the university for reinstatement. You submit a thick stack of materials supporting your petition. Though documentation of all that you've learned about dinosaurs, time travel, thorough documentation, time travel and filmmaking, while not neglecting any of these areas, you place special emphasis on your primary academic interest, which is dinosaurs and wildlife, creating scientific documentaries, creating heartwarming film, producing non-stop comedies, making pulse-pounding action movies, or engineering time travel. I think either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think either 1 or 6 are going to be, obviously the most sensible option. We have seen dinosaurs in the flesh. We actually literally engineered a time travel machine. Either of those, we could get a professorship. We'd be made for life. I don't think our documentary is gonna, win any awards. So 1 of 6. Are we gonna be a paleontologist, or are we gonna be a time travel engineer? Someone has to make the. Actually, everyone has to come up with an option because. Yeah. I feel that we're right at the end. So, for me, my one, I think an engineer is. I think that's what we can offer more. Our invention has more to offer engineering than our observations have to offer paleontology. Even though Vance stole our work. So 106, we got 6. I've got 6. So I feel 6 is the democratic. We're amazing engineers. We invented a time machine. Come on. You assemble all your notes, logs, and performance stats for both you and your voyage to the Cretaceous and the trip home. In addition to submitting raw data, you add a succinct wrap-up of what you've discovered, as well as a series of questions and further avenues of inquiry regarding temporal physics and time travel. As for the evidence you amassed proving Vance's thievery, you stop and consider whether to include it or not. Vance's RV never returned to the 21st century. Oh, damn! Neither he, nor Casey, nor Skylar were ever seen or heard from again. You feel quite certain that they did not voluntarily elect to stay behind. Any number of mishaps could have befallen them. You are of several minds as to whether to present your proof of Vance's misdeeds. After mulling it over, you make a decision. Damn, we left them! They got stuck in the Cretaceous, they never came back. How long would they have to come back? Surely if they've got a time machine, they can come back anytime. If time passes at the same rate in the past as it does in the present, with the time windows, then surely they could just pop back after a year? Maybe? I don't know. Okay, so we submit everything I have in order to strengthen my case. I wouldn't dream of making accusations against my business partner. He's not our business partner, so we didn't go for that, so we can't do that one. I don't have the heart to level these charges when Darian's parents are grieving. Oh, he's dead! How do they know he's dead? Surely he's just disappeared for like 1 or 2 days. Or do we leave it out for fear that it could bias Dean Green against me? One, surely! I mean, come on. We're all in agreement that it's 1, right? It can't be anything else. Why? How would that come back against us? I mean, it would just help provide evidence for what happened to Darian. Would we get blamed? It's 1 for sure. You hasten to explain that the great historical significance of these events requires you to provide a complete record of everything that happened. Nonetheless, you add a note expressing your deepest regret that Darian Vance did not return. Why don't we go back and get him? After waiting what seems like an eternity, you receive notification regarding your academic fate. Yes, that's the most important thing that's on the line here. Your academic fate, not the fate of some other people that we've left to die. It comes in an old-fashioned letter delivered to your parents' mailbox. Not a thick envelope. You fear that it'll be a 1-paragraph dismissal of all you've presented. You're almost afraid to open it, but with trembling hands you do. It is a single page. Above Dean Green's big, self-important signature, your eyes fall on this line. After carefully considering the materials you submitted, I must inform you that your request for reinstatement is hereby denied. It is readily apparent that the materials you claim to have accumulated in the Cretaceous are blatantly fraudulent, as is your claim to have invented time travel. With a groan, you crumple up the letter. No, I'd store it away for my lawyer. You have no other decent academic prospects. It'll be a bit of a scramble to get into a local community college that's supposed to take everybody. And you have to start nearly from the beginning, as few as your academic credits will transfer. No! We invented a time machine! We are above this. We are so above this. Oh. Why don't we go back 10 years to when Dean Mean was just 10 years younger and be like, hey, remember me in the future? I'm going to invent a time machine. How about that? Oh, God. I mean, you can't know they're not going back until you die of old age yourself or something. Exactly. What? How is that fake? Man, humans are dumb. Yeah. On a lark, more than anything, you ship your movie off to an indie film festival. Oh no. Is this what we become? An indie film director? And forget about it for a while. One day, you hear back. The programmers comment on the precisely modulated voiceovers, which indicate what species are on screen and what they're doing. You included explanations where necessary, striving to give each different type of dinosaur, pterosaur, or other creature the time it merits. The bottom line is that your movie has been accepted. You're invited to a screening. Well, of course you go to opening night. Naturally, Brett insists on coming with you. After all, he's your biggest fan. Watching the audience's response to your work is a whole new experience. Your one and only documentary is deemed impressive indeed. Vance's good looks come through, and the dinosaurs add sizzle. Everybody adores baby Cubby's antics. The movie draws considerable interest from film buffs, generating applause when the credits roll. This does not mean, however, that anybody outside the film industry will ever recognize your name. Once all the dust settles, before you know it, people, and mainly your parents, expect you to pick out a career for yourself. What's your preference? So, I am a scientist. I have a strong affinity for filmmaking. I am a natural-born inventor, or I'm drawn to exploration and guiding or big game hunting. I mean, scientist and inventor, are they so different? I mean, I guess there's the method, but they're very closely linked. I mean, we are a natural-born inventor. We invented a time machine, which probably means that we have an incredibly good grasp of science and physics and whatnot. Right, get some food. I think we're done. We just didn't see a T.rex, who... I didn't expect that whatsoever. Why can't you just invent time travel again and get more evidence? I know! I think the rules of time travel in this story was that you can't go back in time again to a time you've already been, so you can't save Vance and co. But could we find evidence of what happened for them? Oh well, it's just Daria and Vance, isn't it? This was a really weird ending. Maybe it's not over. Maybe somehow Skylar gets a message to the future. Maybe we're digging away at an outcrop in the future, which would be kind of near our house in the modern day. And then, you know, you crack open a rock and there's a message written in stone. If you find this, come and get us. Okay, so scientist or an inventor. I'm not having that you're a filmmaker. You can't just like become a filmmaker that easy. It's like a lifetime of work of being the best. Drawn to exploration. I mean, we're no good at shooting, to be honest. So 1 or 3, I'm feeling. 1. Yeah, I feel 1 as well. I think that we are. Science is our place, and engineering and inventing, but that is all built on science. We are a scientist, and we love science. You embark upon a career as a scientist. It suits you, and time passes. Ironic for someone who owns a time machine. Epilogue. Time sweeps onwards, as it always does, except for when you have a time machine. Some people and events are remembered too harshly, and others with great generosity. This is true no matter how tirelessly you work to bolster your legacy. You show key journalists the evidence, proving you're the real inventor of the time machine, and the first true time traveller. Problem is, your claim is weak. Worse yet, the spoiled little rich kid's father succeeded in portraying you as a charlatan who stole his son's invention. God, can you believe it? Darian Vance is the one who's widely hailed as the real inventor of the time travel and the first true time traveller. Of the time machine and the first true time traveller. Oh, I messed that up. To your utter amazement, your pioneering studies of dinosaurs make you one of a handful of scientists recognised by the general public, and an inspiration to the next generation of kids eager to discover more about the mysteries of living things. You find it hard to be surrounded by people, to be the centre of attention so much of the time. Oh, and as for your lifelong friendship with Brett, well, there's nothing like adversity to cement those bonds. It's a good job I'm not messing this up on the last chapter. You go camping together a time or 3, even though it isn't quite as exciting as it used to be. Sometimes at night, you look up at the vast sky and spot an airplane or satellite, or the dim glow of a city in the distance. And instead of finding these small traces of civilization reassuring, you turn over that big what if. What if you and your friend had made a new life for yourself back there? Some nights you wake up having dreamed of hearing, "Cub, cub, cub, cub." Ah, but those dinosaurs, the duckbills and the pterosaurs, and yes, even the triceratops, you'll always have the dinosaurs. And right, we're done. We made it back in time. We never saw a T-Rex. What did we see? We saw pterosaurs and killed them. We saw an ankylosaur. We saw triceratops. We saw duckbills. Oh god, we saw a lot of duckbills. We saw a mammal. And that's it. We didn't get revenge. We didn't fall in love. We didn't become famous for anything other than our paleontology. And I mean, there's no such thing as a famous paleontologist. It's not something you want to aspire to, being a recognised paleontologist. That's... I don't feel that we got a satisfying end. But then this is up for you to do. Everyone should go and buy this. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this game to a friend? 1. Was that the answer? We got a semi-bad ending. Yeah, at least we didn't die. That's true. We got a career. How about that? So we've got a 6. Tiny, was your answer a 1, or was that the answer to the last question? I hated every moment of it. I wanted to get Darian Vance and smash his rugged, handsome face in and see a T-Rex, and we didn't get any of those. It wasn't as advertised. Okay, we got an 8. So a 6 and an 8. That's going to leave us with a 7. Democracy. Choice of games releases new games like this. 1 on a regular basis. No thanks. Thanks for playing. So, do we play again? Play more games like this. Share the game with friends. Email when new games are available. Let's play again. Start again. You're all not doing anything. We've got another... What? It took like... How many streams was it? We did 5 streams. Each one was like an hour and a half. So that's like 3, 6, 7.5 hours or something that this took us to get through. Wow. Oh, achievements. Oh, there are a lot of things. Still 31 achievements remaining. We got just a few points. But God, look how many. Woo Brett, Woo Casey, Woo Skylar. Is there a Woo Skylar Darian? Propane Pyromaniac is one way to take down the fiercest predator of the age. I feel like we're missing stuff. Kazoo Chorus. Film the Kazoo Chorus. We missed that. Make a movie. Oh, there's so much we could have done. Call Me Mama. Newborn duckbill imprints on you. No. Triumphant Return. Bring everyone home safely. Everyone home. It followed me home. Can I keep it? Oh god, there's so much. There's so much. Save your nemesis from a horrible death. Escaping the T-Rex. Save Skylar from a gruesome demise. Wow. Yeah. Anyway. I hope you've all enjoyed this. I mean, this is... I didn't think it would go this way. I didn't think that we would... I didn't think that we would get this kind of fun, the engagement with it. The fact that I've had some of you, you know, like dropping in every day, that's been absolutely lovely to have. Because it's like, oh god, what if no one turns up? And I just end up doing like a 7-hour narration of an audiobook just by myself. That'd be so awkward. But thank you so much for joining. Eris joins just as we finish the adventure. Are you kidding? Were you lurking this whole time, or did you actually just turn up as we finished? You just skipped to the end. Like, we didn't need to do everything. It's all available on Catch Up. Oh, no, you did. It's all available on Catch Up. So when you go to our channel, If you go through to videos, there's also a tab for live, and then you can watch back everything. So catch up on it all. Or don't. You know, what did you miss? We got a pretty rubbish ending, I think. But it also took us in ways that I didn't think it would go, so it was fun to do. And in general, as I was saying, it has been a very fun journey, and thank you for everyone that's come and taken part. There are other games like this that we could do collaboratively. If you've enjoyed like the actual collaboration, then there are other games where, you know, like it's text-based. There's some dinosaur dating sims that I've seen where you play as a dinosaur in high school. I don't know if that's quite what I want. And then another thing that we're looking at doing is maybe even doing some D&D, doing some Dungeons and Dragons or other related content. If you're into D&D and you've watched all this all the way through and you're now at the end, let us know if you want to do some D&D, if you want to see a load of paleontologists doing D&D, and then also playing, you know, like paleontological playthrough, D&D playthroughs. Like somewhat, a paleontologist has invented like a D&D kind of game. How insane would that be if we all got to play it? And like have a character that you could control in the text as well. So there's loads of kind of stuff that we can do. I'd love to see a load of paleontologists playing D&D or any P&P RPG. Yep, well, good. 6 out of 5 would watch. Excellent. Well, maybe we'll get on with it. It's a big technological feat, but I think one of the big things that I wanted to do on this is to manage talking, thinking, and operating a live stream and a soundboard at the same time. It is incredibly difficult. So, yeah, it could be possible, and I think it is something that would be cool. It'd be really cool to be able to do. And since you've enjoyed this, then yeah, it'd be awesome to do something like that. So, if you are not watching live, in the comments, let us know if that's the kind of thing that you would be into. Let us know in the comments if this ending was disappointing for you. If we got all this way and now you're just like, ugh, I've just watched 7.5 hours of this and this is where we've ended up. I am so gutted. Or maybe you completely enjoyed it. But anyway, whether you loved it or hate it, like, subscribe, and there'll be stuff like this that we will do in the future. And if you are enjoying these kinds of live streams and you want more of this kind of content as opposed to, you know, like a more regular kind of, we'll just take a look at a computer game, also let us know. But yeah, that's me for today. An hour and 50. Woo, my voice is all gone. Thanks so much for everyone that's turned up to this live today and throughout the rest of the stream. You have made this, so thank you. I couldn't have done it without you, or I couldn't be bothered to have done it without you. So brilliant. Thank you very much. And that's it. See you all for another video, probably a more exciting one. See you later.